obviously artists that I've worked with, you know, say Kano for years and years and years. Yeah, there's definitely been times. The only thing is that as you get older and the artists are naturally younger that you're working with, so say, you know, when I was first working with Kane 17 years ago, I don't know what our age gap is, but you know, it's like I was kind of older brother. Then working with Stormzy, you know, I was probably old enough to be his dad. And then as it gets, you know, the socializing maybe, you know, for them is, you know, maybe not the thing. They don't want to be socializing with someone, but that's fine for me as well, because I was actually laughing about it with Dave last night. You know, he was like, you know, you're such a routine guy. He said, you know, I could bet if I called you at 1 o'clock, you'd definitely be in bed, 1 a.m. And I was like, yeah, no, I definitely would be in bed, so just don't call me at that time. In fact, my best time to cook, because I get up super early. We have dogs, so the dogs need taking out. So I'm up at 6, but I know I can always get an answer from Dave. As soon as I get up, I'll talk to him. He hasn't gone to bed. Yeah, I'm just waking up. So I'm kind of like always a day ahead of him. But
have you I mean, speaking on Dave, obviously he's on the new record from your new album, which we'll talk about. How, I mean, I don't want to ask how was that working with him on Psychodrama, but what made it special?
I think the relationship that we built over the 2 EPs, I think was incredible. To then lead into the album, it felt supernatural, and we've obviously very relaxed around each other. The relationship that I'd built, obviously a strange relationship because he's in prison, but Dave's brother, you know, being able to talk to him occasionally on the phone, but having gone to see him in prison, knowing how close Dave and Christopher are, you know, so to develop that relationship and to actually just seeing the dynamic between the two of them, musically, the way that we were able to be super relaxed, and Dave playing piano or me playing bass or guitar, me knowing that, or him knowing the way that I work, but also that I'm going to push him, but I've always got his back. I think that leads to special music, you know, and you have that sort of relationship. It's like really, I always look at these relationships like, because I was in bands when I was a kid, and that's
Geronimo Road.
Yeah, good digging. But I think that when you have that relationship, like you're in a band, and that's really what it is in the studio for me. You know, you have lots of fun, you have loads of jokes, but ultimately, like, you've got each other's back. You're there for each other, and I think that's such a special thing. I always used to find that the kind of transactional, almost like speed dating type of songwriting was never for me, because I could never really get to know someone in that short amount of time.
Right.
And it's kind of a bit of a lottery in terms of whether you're going to get something good or you're not. So
typically. Then we move on to the latest release, which is featuring Dave, and it's Children of the Internet. One thing that I found quite incredible really is the fact that the subject matter is obviously something we're all aware of. It's the social dilemma, as it were. But then you have like a 22-year-old male from London talking about it. And I mean, that speaks for obviously Dave's, you know, his individual maturity and whatnot. But just the juxtaposition there is almost, it's noteworthy.
Yeah, it's crazy how he's able to, I guess it's, you know, every amazing creative, you know, is able to see what's going on around them and just take those elements and put those into great art. You know, and Dave's just such a great example of a great artist that does that. He also was saying that he's not a child of the internet.
Right.
So when I first talked to him about this, which I think was a long, long time ago, that was, I think, back in 2018, when he had that title, which I loved. And he was saying his experience was that he remembers experiencing life pre Wi-Fi, and so feels that he remembers that human interaction, sitting on the sofa playing FIFA with his brothers, and just feeling that, even though you're looking at the screen, but feeling. He said that the thing that changed it was obviously Wi-Fi, but I think it was the Xbox One, where you could really start to play against people virtually, and that always stuck with me. That what a kind of haunting, how clear the delineation of age and generation is. It's so quick now that you could be a child on the internet, and then if you're older than this time, then you're not. And how he's seen the changes with like the younger generation that have this wealth of information to draw on, but ultimately human interaction is struggling because of that. And I think that he puts that so incredibly into words and into his flow.